My name is Mike. This is ESR Racing 101. Welcome to the ESR Racing 101 playlist. And we will, through these videos, be talking about various items of sim racecraft and things particular to the ESR community. We'll be teaching you how to utilize web assets such as Discord, how we have things set up, website, race app, etc. We'll also be talking about things that pertain to directly on the track. I personally will be focusing on Assetto Corsa Competizione because the two games that I tend to run are ACC and Race Room Racing Experience. And Race Room doesn't have really anything specifically unique to it. I mean, every so often there's a little tweak or thing that comes up. There was the time when going off track basically meant your tires were complete ice for like a half lap. Things of that nature that kind of come up. But there's not a lot. ACC goes a lot more into depth. There's more things to discuss, from some of the starting dynamics to some of the penalty dynamics to some of the in-game ways things work, such as custom liveries. So that'll be the focus. But just because I'm using ACC as a game doesn't mean that it wouldn't apply to another game. And there may be other games that come up. There may be other people who add videos to this as a way of talking about the games that they specialize in, that they run, that they want to inform people about. So, without further ado, let's get towards today's episode.
Hello, ESR community. Once again here to do ESR 101, and today we're talking about multiple drivers, driver swaps, and everything else you need to know about multiple drivers. And I have a co-host today, Javier Perez Torres.
Hi, everybody.
Javier is going to be my partner for the upcoming Nürburgring 3-hour, and also one of my three teammates for the 9-hour, with RC Guerin and Jeff Wentworth joining us. And we're going to talk about ACC driver swaps, basically. So currently we're sitting in qualifying. I'm going to move us over here to the race in just a second. I'm going to start. I'm going to hand the car over to Javier, and we're going to point out basically everything you have to do. And then Javier will hand the car back to me just to show the other side of the swap, although, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, is really easy.
Yeah, you just gotta, be there.
Exactly. Frankly, exactly the case. Okay, so a question people asked about who has to start the race, because there's obviously the first driver, the second driver, etc. on an entry list. As far as I can tell, it does not matter who the first driver on the entry list is. The driver who will start the race is just the driver who's in the car at the end of the previous session. So since I'm in the car right now, I will be in the car when we go to the race session. If Javier had been in the car, he would be in the car heading into the race session, as the session is really taking its sweet-ass time starting here. I'm going to try kicking it with a next again just to make sure that we're going. But it should do that shortly. So it shouldn't really matter the order as long as it's the person who finished off the qualifying run or the prior practice run or the warm-up or whatever. That is my understanding. I will post a correction if that turns out to be incorrect. Javier, if you can think of anything that needs to be answered, let me know, because obviously you might think of some things that I don't think of. So
Okey-dokey.
hopefully we can cover the whole topic in its entirety. Come on,
Is
session,
it-
go!
Are you still in the car or are you in the menu?
I am in the car.
Go to the menu. I think it's counting as you doing a lap right now.
Okay. That might be the problem.
Because I'm seeing the time go.
I see. Okay, let's try. Let's try doing the next command again. Because I know normally you can. It's hard to get it to forward out of the race, but it shouldn't be difficult getting it out of qualifying. So some of the things we're going to be talking about is where to find your max driving time, your stint time, and so on the server. I don't think I have. Well, I might not be able to do max driving time because I don't think I have it enabled for this server because the stint time kind of covers it. Because it's basically a one-stop race here in the 3 hour, because taking any more pit stops is more than is required, because you only have 2 drivers. So there's only 1 handoff required. And the car should be able to do 90 minutes without any specific problems, as this is still not going over the next session.
I think you have to do the lap at this point.
All right.
448, 445,
Let's do
450.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, it's just gonna make you do it.
All right, apologies everybody. Messed up by being in the car when I ordered for the forward.
No, I think it just confused it in the sense that like you were past the finish line, but you were still doing like a time, you know,
I gotcha.
because of where the or garage is located, I guess.
Could be, but I mean that would theoretically mean that the next would never work because there's.
I mean, yeah, it's an invalid lap, but you're still putting it down, so it's just like let's give it a second kind of thing.
And it's probably the max waiting time for the session is the problem. It's probably triggered that. So we'll get to the.
I mean, I have no idea.
I'll get to the end of the lap, and that should trigger the checkered flag.
I just act like I work here. I don't know.
We don't work here. We don't pay you.
Like I said, I act.
Those who don't know Javier, he is one of the better silver drivers in ESR. He is our English to Spanish translator periodically when we need it. And one of them, anyways. We have a couple different ones. We actually have one paid English to Spanish translator, which is kind of amusing.
Wow.
We don't pay him, but one of our Argentinian drivers actually pays one of his buddies to translate for him. So that's kind of interesting.
Translate what?
He doesn't speak English, so when we're talking about like rules and penalties and stuff, for the longest time he was kind of like making the same mistakes over and over again, just because I don't think he understood what was. There we go.
There we go.
He didn't understand what was being said. Was kind of the thing. And as a result, he just finally went, all right, here's my friend. My friend speaks English and Spanish. We are going to use him as a third party. I don't know where that accent came from. It's probably offensive as all hell. Okay, so we're at the beginning screen here with the countdown for the session to start. We can see if you can see my mouse, there's the pit rules here. I think in general, people really just need to know that because a lot of people ask me about like, all right, what are the pit stop rules for a race? And it's like, it's right there. So you can see that we have one mandatory pit stop and that a driver swap is required. Now, I will point out, if anyone manages to do a pit stop in this 3-hour race without changing their tires or refueling, they are insane. So that effectively is something that is going to happen, but it's not required. Just the driver swap is required. And you can make more than one pit stop. You can make 17 pit stops if you want. I think your race has gone very poorly at that point, but it's an option. You can do more than one driver swap. It's an option, but it is beyond what is required. You can also see below there that we have driving time left. Both me and Javier have 100 minutes of possible time in the car. This is a 3-hour race, which makes it 180 minutes. 100 plus 100 would be 200 minutes. Therefore, we have basically a 20 minutes to play with in terms of, things. You wouldn't want to have it 90-90 because then you're very much having to really line things up very closely, and that's a bit extreme, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Not much else to talk about with the current thing here. I am going to touch on one thing about tire temperatures because some people have asked about this before. You can see how the session time is counting down at 43, 41 seconds. It's going to let me hit drive at 30 seconds. At 30 seconds, I will go back into my setup tab so that the tire warmers kind of go back on the car. Otherwise, you start with very cold tires. So just go here, and there we go. Boom, boom. And hit drive. Turn the car on. Start her up. I have relatively nice green tires. Little blue in them. They're low pressures, though, so it is still going to be a bit of a rough start, for the record. And this is a full formation lap, so I'll do the formation lap, and then I'll pull into the pits on lap 1 and get the car over to Javier, and we'll talk about that. So you can see on the screen right now that the driver swap is currently redded out for the pit stop requirements, and it says that the pit stop is invalid. Normally this would be a slow formation lap. I'm going to take the liberty of just kind of doing a regular lap because we don't want to be here all day. And you can see that the driver time is not counting down yet because I have not actually started a green flag lap. Now, if I recall correctly, the 9 hours is going to not have a maximum driver time, but it will have a maximum stint time, so of 65 minutes. So no one can go without a pit stop for more than 65 minutes. Technically, someone could race the whole race. I wonder if RWB has thought of that. Not that I think you would really want someone to race for 9 hours straight. That seems like a bad idea. What do you think, Javier? If we had Mike Stopmill run for 9 hours straight, would we finally become faster than him at some point?
He would hit light speed, and then time wouldn't matter.
Alright, there's the double file message from my crew chief. There's no one to be in double file with, so not a worry in this particular occasion.
Also, I was going to mention, as the session is about to start, I couldn't do anything on the garage as the second driver, so make sure that you, as the first driver, have everything set up.
Yep. It's all on the first driver at the start to do anything with the pit stop, with the setup. So
if somebody forgets the fuel, it's the first guy.
Yeah. I kind of wish that wasn't the case, because then you could have your most technically sophisticated driver be ready for the anyways, green lights have hit. You can see the countdown on my time is beginning there in the lower left hand portion of the screen. And
go.
You can see that it says Javier is up at the top there. It says Javier is connected in green. That means that he's here. If he wasn't here, it would say that he's offline, and obviously you can't swap to an offline driver. So always, when it's your time to drive in an enduro race, be there a couple minutes early. Be ready to take the car over, basically. For example, for the 9 hours, since RC is going to be at my place and using my rig, when we switch from one of us to the other, we're going to have to adjust the entire rig, because I'm not a super tall person, but there is like a 5-inch height difference between the two of us. So there will be some adjustments. So needless to say, RC will not be doing the stint after me, and vice versa. Either Jeff or Javier will be in the car between us.
In between, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The filling in the sandwich.
Yeah. And me and her will probably do single stints, while you guys will do 2 stints apiece, I would think. Unless you guys want to do it another way. I'm not. I'm open to options. Because 9 hours for 4 drivers doesn't divide, equally.
I'm here as a supporting role.
All right, so we're approaching the pit stop here, the pit lane, I should say, and our pit stop.
Box.
All right, we're heading in. I'm doing this really slowly. You would do this quicker in real life or in the game. So you just scroll down to select driver, goes to Javier. It says Javier has requested time in the car. And at this point, we come in, and there's literally nothing really Javier has to do on his end right now. He's just got to get ready, get stretched, get ready to roll, basically, because it's going to be a 30-second pit stop, and there we go. Also, we have a stint time up there. That's not going to matter in the 3-hour. It'll matter in the 9-hour. So here we go, coming to an end here. I don't actually know where to stop this car. So we're going to find that out. Oh, I got it!
First try.
Yeah, perfect. So we're switching the tires up here. We're not taking any fuel in because this is just a demo run. We're literally, I think, just using a default setup. So you can see the guys rocking around the car there. And towards the end, I'm going to turn the car back on for Javier, because it's nice to do that, and it saves time. And then boom, and Javier is in the car. And you can see how everything grayed out. Like I don't have the ability to do anything on the MFD. If I wanted to change electronics, I can't do it. I can't do anything in the pit stop. That's Javier's now.
I was going to say, in the way of strats, you might want to count down your other guy, because I had no idea when you were going.
Oh yes. I should do that.
Give me a 5-second countdown.
we'll do that. We'll do that on the swap, because you're going to come in and basically swap back to me, so we can show the other side of it, basically. Yeah, you can see. This is actually kind of annoying. I really wish that they gave me the ability to see the driver or the tire info while I'm not in the car, because I could make adjustments to the tires for Javier. It would take the pressure off him. It would allow you to be a crew chief, basically. And we don't have that.
Are you able to see the changes in the dash?
Yes, I can see the dash. I just can't.
You saw me change the traction control, eh?
I did. Yeah, I can see. I can see your ABS setting, your brake bias, your TC. If you want to swap the brake bias for a quick, just to give the visual, that would be fine. Yep, there we go. So you can see it's moving there in the lower right-hand corner. Was at 61.6, and now it's at 62.2. That's obviously more forward. That's not how we would run it necessarily. That's just demoing that you can see it. You can see him change map as well. It's just you don't get the tire info, which is a little bit annoying. Because that's the thing you would really actually want help with. Or the fuel. You can't see the fuel either.
Oh man, you gotta talk to your teammate. That sucks.
Alright, so Javier is coming in. And we will see my connected sign turn into a blue requested sign once he sends the command out that I should get in the car. There it is. And literally at this point I do nothing. Well, if it's me, I'm probably over here stretching out my glutes because I still have a little bit of the dead butt syndrome going on. And I'm getting ready to get in the car. Maybe taking a sip of water, whatever it is.
Pulling up,
yep.
Turning off the car.
Javier turns the car off, gets the pit stop rolling. Jacks him up. I don't get to see
seconds.
I don't get to see the dudes do the gyros. That's a little bit rude. Come on, ACC, give the guys waiting to get in the car a little love.
20 seconds. 10. I turned on the car.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Come on, let's go. I completely screwed up that start by going into second gear there for a half second. Would have been bad. That would deactivate the automatic pit limiter. Be a bad idea. So that's everything basically. You can see that it's still counting down. The amount of time I have left in the stint is also shown, but it's just max driving time, so there's nothing to worry about there. Is there any questions you can think of that we didn't answer, Javier? I guess that would be the question.
No, just be mindful of your teammate and communicate.
Well, that's just good teamwork. And finding someone who kind of gels with your driving style is obviously good. If you want completely different things out of the car, it's going to be a problem, for example. I don't want to name names because it's gonna seem like I'm calling someone out, and I'm not. But there are some guys that, like in 3D Speed, that I wouldn't do a driver swap with, and it's not that they're bad drivers. It's not that I don't find them friendly people. It's not that I think they'd be bad teammates. It's just that I look at their car, I look at how I drive, and it's fundamentally different. If we ran my setup, they wouldn't be happy. If we ran their setup, I wouldn't be happy. So you kind of want to find your brother from another mother, I guess, in a nutshell. Someone very similar to you to run the car with would be the best case scenario. So we've done everything. Can't really think of anything else. So good luck at the 3 hours of Nürburgring. Good luck at the 9 hours of Nürburgring if you're doing that. That's going to be a big event. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Like, there's a lot of thoughts of like strategy for who should run which section of the race and that kind of thing, but that's really like team to team dependent. Obviously, some people are going to be running the second half of the race, and some people are running the first half just because of time zone, basically. Because there is that option to not be in attendance at the start of the race and not be in attendance at the end of the race. It's nice to have the guy outside the car, because we can't demonstrate it here because there's no one else on the server. But if you're out of the car, you can go and like watch other cars and try to pick up ideas from that. Who's doing faster than you? Where is someone in particular? Like, if let's say I was running at, I don't know, 5th place. Let's be real generous to me and Javi. Javier's gotten us up into 5th place, and I'm like, okay, can you keep an eye on the guy in 4th place and let me know how he's doing and what the situation is, and we can try and use that to our advantage, sort of thing. So
manage it around it.
Yeah, it's nice to have a guy in your ear helping you out a little bit. So that's it. I'm gonna bring the car to a stop here, probably just on the pit entrance, and do just a quick recap of everything on the HUD with my mouse, instead of just saying, lower left-hand corner. It'll be, here's where the mouse is. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's bring us to a stop and get my mouse here. I have to reach way over here to get the keyboard and the mouse. That's the unfortunate thing of this setup.
Do you see me changing the dash?
What do you mean?
The dash display, like in front of the wheel. I'm changing it.
Oh,
I didn't know if you could see that.
No, I don't see that. That's just for you, I think. I think every driver controls their own. Same with the MFD. I think if you change the MFD, I don't see it. I don't think. That would be a little bit confusing. Of course, I can't get a mouse here. This is lovely. I was going to do the whole overlap. All right, so starting at the top right-hand corner, you've got your normal racing timing data, and beside that you have your team, which tells me that I'm driving, JPT is connected, and could be summoned to the car if I wanted. And then in the lower left-hand portion, we have our driving time here. I'm at 132.55 left. Javier's at 137.56 left. And there's a big red box there that is counting down my time. I'm not sure if that changes to the other driver, if that's the driver in the car or that's just your time. But I think either way, it's pretty easy. And that's really about it. And then, on the MFD, you can bring up your driver here, and you can obviously do the change tires, change brakes. I'm going to do a full pit stop video at some point as well. Repairs there, and then, there we are. Requested the driver to come in. And you can see that the projected time required goes up with the driver swap to a minimum of 30 seconds. It can't be faster. That's all I can think of. Javi, do you have anything left that we maybe have not covered?
Don't be like me and make sure you assign a button for the MFD.
Yes, it's assign an MFD button. You'll definitely use that. All right, so for me and Javier Perez Torres, that's all for this episode of ESR Racing 101. Now we gonna do practice. Yeah. I'll put an Allen Iverson thing at the end of this. We're gonna do practice.